Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a fun one for me as I get to go through my top 10 best movies of 2025. And listen, I know we're already about a quarter of the way through 2026, but there were quite a few movies that I didn't get to watch in 2025 that I wanted to watch before I made this list, so sue me. But we're here now, so let's go ahead and talk about my top 10 best movies of 2025. Now bear in mind my list will look completely different from a lot of people's, and that every single movie on this list has flaws except for numbers 1 and 2. Coming in at number 10 is a musical, of which there were quite a few good ones in 2025, but it's based on a true story, and save for a couple details, it stayed very close to that true story. So at number 10, I have Song Sung Blue. Anytime you have actors like Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson on screen, especially together, that's definitely a movie worth checking out. But I thought the story alone for this one was amazing and well told, so I found it earned a place on this list. Now, number 9 is an example of one of the movies I wanted to watch after the fact of the year being over, and it's another musical, however this one's fictional. And even though it's on my top 10 best list, there is a song from it that is stuck in my head and it pisses me off. That movie is K-pop Demon Hunters. I had heard people raving about this movie, but I hadn't seen it yet, checked it out, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, the vocal performances are extraordinary. I also loved the animation in this movie. It is so hilarious, and they did a great job with all of that. I didn't feel like the story was the strongest, but overall, it was a very well-made movie, and I enjoyed watching it, although I hope to get that song out of my head. Number 8 is a movie that I really hoped was going to be good, but was pretty disappointed with its prequel. But I was very happily surprised with this movie, both from its mystery, its humor, but also an amazing performance from Josh O'Connor. And that movie is Wake Up Dead Man. This is the third installment in the Knives Out mystery movies, and although the first one still holds a special place in my heart, I really enjoyed this movie. The mystery was solid all the way through, and the relationship between Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor kind of forming this buddy cop duo made for some excellent on-screen chemistry, and it was very entertaining to watch. Number 7 is a movie that I saw at the beginning of the year. I'd been excited to watch it because of the cast, but also the concept intrigued me. And that movie is The Gorge. It was extremely creative, extremely colorful, imaginative, genre-bending, and you get to watch Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy on screen with this dark and mysterious action romance with clever ideas, fun banter, and creative visuals that I was not expecting. Now, there was definitely some cheese in this movie, but I am a sucker for very creative, imaginative movies, and this one had just enough in it to make me look past those flaws and just be able to enjoy the movie. Number 6 is a story that has been told many times, but not a single one of those times was it told by Guillermo del Toro. Until now. That movie is Frankenstein. Now, it takes a lot to uniquely tell a story that we've seen 1,000 times before, but he was able to do it, and he did so with an excellent cast and a really well-told, intricate story with multiple perspectives and acts, along with a very solid use of flashbacks that I really enjoyed. Now, it's a bit of a longer movie, but it was so well told, and it became my favorite rendition of Frankenstein that I've seen, and is available on Netflix along with K-pop Demon Hunters and Wake Up Dead Man. The Gorge is on Apple TV, and I think Song Sung Blue might be on HBO Max, but that may have changed at this point. Now, before we get into the top 5, I wanted to talk about a couple films in 2 subcategories that didn't quite make the cut, but were very close. We'll go ahead and start with honorable mentions. One of the honorable mentions was Wicked for Good. It could not escape the shadow of its predecessor, and for good reason. Although the story was unique and I enjoyed the different renditions of these characters that were seen from the classic story, the music was forgettable, some of the acting was poor, and so much of the story felt rushed compared to the first movie. Another honorable mention is Life of Chuck. Holy free holies, that movie made me feel things that I hadn't felt in a long time. I legit had to sit and contemplate my life for at least an hour after watching that movie. The problem is that the first third of the movie was absolutely agonizing to sit through. I almost considered walking out of it, but I'm glad that I stayed because the rest of the film was amazing. Definitely worth checking out, not on my top 10 list. And my favorite honorable mention of the year was Death of a Unicorn. This movie had so much potential. It was super creative, very original, and had a loaded cast of people who are capable of being funny and having really good acting performances. The biggest driving force that was not there behind this movie was the father-daughter relationship between Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. That and the fact that they could not get in a groove with their humor and just kind of threw everything at the wall. But this movie was very close to cracking my top 10. Let's go ahead and move forward to top 5. Coming in at number 5 is a sequel that I had anticipated for a very long time, and that movie is The Accountant 2. I happened to love the first movie and was very excited when I saw the director returning for number 2. Now, this movie did feel a bit bloated and went on for a bit long, but come on, Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal on screen together? Give me more of that, please. But I love myself a solid action movie with great acting and a solid story, and this was that. And I cannot wait for the third one. The Accountant 2 is available on Amazon Prime. Finding itself at number 4 is the third movie of this franchise, and walking into it, I did not know that it was going to be ranked this high. A lot of people hated it. I was not one of those people. That movie is Avatar: Fire and Ash. Now, I get it. This movie felt a lot like the second one, but seeing this incredible world come to life and the things that we see on screen, you just can't deny the epicness of a movie like this. There are a handful of things in this movie that I did not like, but once again, it was not enough to pull it out of my top 10. Avatar: Fire and Ash, I think, will be available on Disney Plus at some point this year, but I'm not sure quite when. Now, there is one more movie I have to talk about before we go into my top 3, and that is a movie that, in my opinion, had the best standalone scene of any movie that I saw in 2025. It did not crack my top 10, but it had a scene in it that moved me so much that I was crying in the movie theater. And that movie was Hamnet. Hamnet cracked people's top 10 lists across the board. And although I have a different opinion than a lot of people about that movie, we are the same in the fact that the final scene of that movie was so moving and so powerful, and it made the movie worth watching just to see that scene. And now we've arrived at my top 3. Awarded bronze in the best of 2025 is another sequel, another animated movie, one that is very fast-paced, brightly colored, but managed to hold on to the original heart of the first film. And that movie is Zootopia 2. I had so much fun watching this movie. I laughed a lot. It bounced from one scene to the next very seamlessly, and it was just a really, really enjoyable movie to watch. And when you get to see higher level or very clever humor in a movie, that is something very special to watch. I would definitely recommend checking it out on Disney Plus. To be completely honest with you guys, number 1 and number 2, I flip-flopped probably half a dozen times. These movies are both so well done, and I cannot rave about them enough. But here is where they landed. Number 2 was a movie that I did not see until this year. And once again, I cried for about 15 minutes after the movie. It moved me because of how simple it was, yet powerful. It was beautifully shot, beautifully told, and a movie that will stick with me for the rest of my life. I think that everyone should watch this movie, but you have to be prepared to cry. And that movie is Train Dreams. I don't even really know where to begin with this movie other than I just was hit by a truck while watching it, because it was one of the most beautiful movies that I've ever seen in my life. And a lot of it was shot right here in the Inland Northwest. It was incredibly moving, and I think that everyone should watch it at some point in their life. Train Dreams is available on Netflix. And the time has come for number 1. This movie is one that I also saw at the beginning of this year, and it was not dethroned for the entire year. It was entertaining, it was intense, you are on the edge of your seat the entire time. Excellent cast, excellent performances, and an excellent director who happens to know what he's doing because he's done it before. An absolute home run of a movie that I have seen multiple times and already own on DVD, taking gold for my top 10 best movies of 2025. Is F1. This movie encapsulates everything that makes a movie great. An amazing story, a great protagonist, lots of humor, lots of drama, great interactions between characters, lots of good character development and character building throughout the film, and an amazing amount of escapism that just lets you watch this movie and let everything drift into the background. This movie is so much fun to watch. Joseph Kosinski also directed Top Gun Maverick, which topped the board of my movies in 2022, and he's done it once again. The guy knows how to make a good movie, he knows what people want to watch, and he just executed it flawlessly. So, thank you so much for watching watching. Thank you for another year of watching my reviews and just bringing this channel to life. Let me know in the comments below, what were your top 10 favorite movies of 2025? Were there movies you were disappointed about? Were there movies that cracked your top 10 that didn't make it into mine? I appreciate all of your love and support, and I can't wait to see where this channel goes in the next year. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.